Okay. One day, Cid Highwind got in trouble with the law, and as punishment, he had to do community work. As part of the work, he had to do a public service announcement to tell people not to smoke. Switch.
Public service announcement was, kids, don't smoke. Your lungs will turn black as night, and you will cough up blood and urine. So therefore, I urge you not to smoke anymore. Otherwise, you'll end up like me, doing a stupid public service announcement.
Keep going.
So if you don't want to end up like me, do yourself a favor and never smoke at all. Then again, don't drink either, because otherwise you'll end up like that guy over there.
Switch.
This kept on going on and on about the smoking thing, and Cloud was right behind him. And he was smoking some cigarettes too. So what he did, he put a cigarette behind Sid's neck, and she said, "Ouch! Damn it!" And after that, Sid came after Cloud, and he said, "Give back that cigarette, you dumb fool!" And then, so they get really. That's it.
Okay, switch.
Well, at that point, Cloud said, "Whatever," and basically at that point, Cid got his harpoon, and it almost was on, until basically P.S.A came in and started threatening to kick both their butts if they didn't stop fighting this very instant and get back on task, which was Cid making this stupid little P.S.A against smoking. So P.S.A basically decided to use a great physical series of attacks on Cloud to show what you could do if you weren't smoking like Cid and Cloud were in this process.
At that moment in time, Vincent Valentine came on board.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and so he basically said, "I wish all of you would stop all this fighting," because he always thinks everyone's beneath him. So therefore they did. So therefore they were like, "No!" So then they said, "Fine, I will fight you anyway." So Vincent used his giant Cerberus gun, pretty much obliterated the entire town, except for P.S.A, Cloud, and Cid.
Switch.
P.S.A and Cloud were over by the cafe, went over by the cafe, and they talk about like the smoking thing and stuff like that about Cid. And so then Vincent comes up and he says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're just talking about the whole smoking thing over by what's his face Avenue, whatever it is." So so Cloud and Vincent go into this argument about who should go out with P.S.A.
Switch.
Especially because of the fact that P.S.A is so much hotter now than she was in the original version of Final Fantasy VII. So now she's actually desirable instead of this deformed pseudo-cartoon mess that she was before. So everybody's beginning to argue, even Red 13's getting into the argument. We're getting all the male characters of the Final Fantasy VII canon coming as to whoever would want to date P.S.A right now. Of course,
then, as all the male character cast of FF7 are arguing, all of a sudden Yuffie comes in on the scene, and then she got extremely irritated due to the fact that all the attention was on P.S.A, not on her. And she knows good and well that she's equally just as hot as P.S.A, if not even more so. So therefore, instead of getting a fight with the male cast, she gets into a fight with P.S.A, who, of course, as you know, had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Switch.
So P.S.A says, "Oh, look at my ass." Look at my butt. So they're like, so all the guys comes up and they're like, "Woohoo!" And then all. Oh my God! Story. Oh, so from Final Fantasy 12 comes in and.
Switch.
which person in Final Fantasy 12?
Your choice.
Or anybody.
Well, Unit 10.
Yeah.
But basically what happens is Ash comes in from Final Fantasy 12, and And basically all the guys take a look at that gorgeous little scarlet red pair of shorts. And then, of course, the real blow-away is when Fran comes in, and that pretty well ends the discussion right then and there.
Switch.
Go on to FF7.
Okay.
At that point, they decided that the argument's been going on for about maybe 7, maybe 12 hours at the max. So at that point, they decided, okay, finally, we're going to end this discussion right here and now. We are going to enter Yuffie and Tifa and
Ash, Fran.
Ash
and Fran.
Ash and Fran.
And you can tag on some of the others as well if you like.
Ash and Fran into this contest, and then by determined a popular vote, we will then discuss who is the hottest amongst these.
Switch.
Oh, wait, I thought you died.
No.
No, you just barely made it. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So they go into this contest, and little did they know that there's going to be some trouble because they have to perform in the stage like this one and talk about some crazy stories that they have got to go into because they're friends, but they have to do it. So later on, so like once Yuffie comes onto stage. Ash was up on the light and Tifa, and they wanted to cut out the lights and try to show a little action, try to kill Switch.
But of course, the moment that an action is basically being called for. Hang on a second. I'm just checking to make sure that your mic is not compromised. Where's the switch on this? Okay, sorry. But as soon as action is being called for, the real action began because 2 new entrants showed up, and that was Yuna and Riku. And they basically decided, okay, if there's going to be action, look at Yuna's butt, and then of course Riku in that bikini. Forget. At that point, Fran got real ticked off as if the Magicide had polluted her, and the fight was on.
Switch.
Fight was on. It was the battle of the girls. Then the male cast could enter, but they were very eager to watch, though. So at that point, so many explosions happened. Several lives of civilians were expired. At that point, they decided to very well end the whole thing and just said to agree to disagree. Switch.
Final part.
Okay, so at the end, Cloud and Vincent and Yuna and Dan and all the other girls and all the other guys, Cloud made the final decision on who was hotter. So he said that the hottest girl that he ever knew that during this whole thing was Yuffie. And so Yuffie, of course, got her trophy. It looked like a model or something. Looked like a model. Yeah, it looked like her. And said, oh, thank you. And Yuna, of course, came behind her, kicked her in her butt, said, get off the stage, you little whore, and stuff like that. So, of course, that was the end. Yeah.
Okay, great.